Hello, my name is Meg McLaren and I am an author and an illustrator, and my latest book is called Peep. It's published by Andersen Press and it is the story of Dot the dog, who's a little bit worried about meeting new dogs and trying new things, so she prefers to stay home with her best friend Peep, who is this little elephant toy right here. But one day Peep goes missing and Dot has to go on an adventure to get him back. Now the reason he's called Peep, he's a little squishy, fluffy dog toy just like this, and he makes a peep sound. So today I thought I'd show you how to draw Dot and Peep. So I'm going to turn my camera around so you can see my desk. Okay, to do our drawing we're going to need a piece of paper and something to draw with. So get your favourite pen or pencil. I really love pencils. This is a coloured pencil and I like them because they show up really well. I've got some really big chunky pencils like this. I like these ones a lot. This is just a regular HB pencil. And then I've got these mechanical pencils, you know, the ones that you press the little button. And they're really good for drawing really fine detailed lines. And the thing I love about pencils is you can draw really lightly, or you can press really hard and get a really nice dark line. So that's why I really love pencils. But you draw with whatever you want to draw with, because I think you make your best drawings when you're drawing with something you'll like drawing with. So we're going to draw Dot and Peep, and we're going to start with Dot because she's the biggest. So I start quite lightly to begin with, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a circle. I like to break everything into shapes to make it really easy to draw. So I'm going to draw a circle, and that's what Dot's head's going to be made of. And then I'm going to draw her body, which looks a little bit like a sausage. She's very short and she's quite low to the ground. So I've got my two shapes and that's going to be the basis of Dot. Now Dot's got very short legs. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be her chest. I'm going to start here and I'm going to draw a really short little leg and put a little foot on it. And this is going to tell me where the ground is because this is the bottom of Dot's feet. So what I like to do is I like to draw the ground in a little bit, and that makes it easier for me to know where to stop all my lines. So this is going to be the back of Dot's leg. That's her front leg, and then her second leg is going to come down from here all the way down to where we drew our ground. And then I'm going to draw the front of this one in. I'm going to put a little foot on it like before. So we're looking at Dot from the side. Now Dot has a tail. Her tail starts up here, and when she's happy her tail stands right in the air. So we're going to draw a little tail just like this. And then for her face, we're going to draw a nose and an ear. Now you've got to think where Dot's looking. If she was looking right at us, you'd put her nose right here, wouldn't you? But this is a side portrait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a tiny little line just here. And then I'm going to curve it round and down. This is going to be Dot's little snout, and then that moves into her mouth. So she's going to be smiling. Actually, let's make that a bigger smile. And then her ear is a big long droopy ear. So we want to draw almost like a teardrop shape just down off the side of her head. So we're keeping everything very light at the moment, and then we can start to firm up our lines. Once our lines are exactly where we want them, we can start to draw them a little bit darker. So I'm happy with this line. I'm going to draw her nose in a little bit darker just so we can all see it. And I'm going to put a little black nose right on the end there. And she's got some little dots for where her whiskers come out to. Now she also wears a hat on her head. She's got a little bobble hat that she wears at all times. So we're going to draw a little brim of a hat very lightly on her head. And then her hat comes up in a little bump, like the sort of hat you'd wear in winter. And it's got pom-pom on the top. So we're going to draw a little circle there too. So that gives us the basic shapes of Dot, so we can start firming all this up. So her eye is going to be about here. We can draw a little dot for her eye. She's got a little eyebrow, so I like to draw some little lines above and below to give her a bit of detail. And then a little line there and a little line here. So that's going to join Dot up really nicely. And then her ear, what I like to do is draw some really short fuzzy lines. This makes her look like she's a furry dog and not a smooth one. So I like to draw her fur as really short little lines. Now her tail, the front part here, I always do is one big straight line, and then I make the back really fuzzy. And the same down the back of her back leg. Make that really fuzzy too. She's very hairy. She's got a nice little hip here. And then her little feet, you can draw some little toe details. Little fuzzy tummy, fuzzy chest. I like to make sure she looks really furry because my dog's like that. He's very fluffy. Now she's got 4 legs, doesn't she? And we've only drawn 2. So what you can do is draw her other 2 legs just slightly higher up because they're further away from us. So I just draw them in very loosely. That's her other 2 legs that you can't quite see. Now her hat has these little, like a brim that's made of these big bumps. That's a very thick knit. So what I do is I draw some lines like this, and then I join the tops of the lines up and the bottoms of the lines, and that gives me the big chunky brim of her hat. And then I draw the little top where the top of her head must be inside, and then I give her a fuzzy pom-pom. She's got a very, very fuzzy hat. And if you want to make her tail wag, you can draw some little lines like this to make it look like her tail's going round and round. And because she has an owner, she has a collar. So her collar goes on her neck. So I draw a little line up here, and then I imagine where it would pop out on the front. And then I put a little, you can put a little chain on it if you like. That's where her name or her phone number would be in case you got lost. Now she's also got some markings. So she's got a little dot on her back here, and then she's got 3 little circles. That's where her name comes from. That's why she's called Dot. So you can colour those in if you like. Just like that. Now we've got to draw Peep, don't we? Now Peep, if we continue our ground across, that way we know where Peep is going to stand. Peep is an elephant, and she looks a little bit, to begin with, like an apple. So if you imagine almost a little, it's almost like a little love heart shape. See how the tops dip in at the top like this? It's like a little love heart that you haven't drawn the little point on the bottom for. I think she looks like a little apple. And then she's got a trunk. Her trunk comes up about as tall as the rest of her. So we're going to join that to the front of her. And then she's got a little eye like Dot, a little dot eye. And she's got a really long pair of ears. They're so long they drag on the ground all the time. And then we'll just go over the lines we're happy with. Now she's got a little line here too. And she's got a little piece of string for a tail, and it's knotted. So it's knotted here at the top, and then it wriggles down, and there's a big knot at the bottom, and then there's lots of little strings poking out. And that's Peep. Now whenever I draw someone on a blank piece of paper, I like to show where they're standing. So Dot loves her garden. So I'm going to draw her in the grass because that's where she likes to be. And Peep is so small, she's smaller than all the flowers. So you could draw lots of different flowers. You could draw the flowers from your garden or your neighbour's garden. My neighbour's got a beautiful garden. I borrowed lots of her flowers for the book. And you could draw little insects and bees or other animals. Sometimes I get squirrels in my garden. Maybe you could draw some of the things that you see in your garden. And then if you want to, you can rub out some of the lines that we drew really lightly that you don't need. But you don't have to rub those out. I quite often just leave them. And you can colour Dot and Peep in. And now that you've drawn one dog, maybe you could draw your own or a favourite dog you've seen on a walk, one that lives in your village. Now, because I'm an illustrator and you are too, we have to sign our picture. So my name is Meg, and I'm going to write my name underneath. I hope you've had fun drawing Dot and Peep.